Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Free Will Baptist Church in Sisney, Illinois. I'm coming to you today with your thoughts for Monday. Our thoughts this week come from the Proverbs again, but this week we're using that phrase, the fear of the Lord. It is used 11 times in the book of Proverbs. It seems that it's a grand summary of the book. He begins in Proverbs 1 and verse 7 by saying, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Solomon begins his lessons on true wisdom here by laying down this first principle, this basis. It is the fear of the Lord. That means a reverent trust, and not only just knowing God, who God is, but regarding him as God of our lives. It also includes a love for the divine. Jesus said that first and greatest commandment is, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind. That's the first and the great commandment. It only follows, by the way, we would practice obedience toward him. You know, the songwriter says, trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey. Such a reverent fear for the Lord presupposes the knowledge of how infinite he is, of how powerful and how much authority he has in this little place that we call a universe, where he is sovereign. It presupposes his majesty. You know, sometimes we need to read the book of Revelation. In Revelation chapter 4 and verse 4, it pictures the throne where God is seated. And it says, from the throne proceed lightnings and thunderings and voices. We see these beautiful colors shooting from the throne. And we know of his goodness toward us and his love toward us. In Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 4, he says, but God, who is rich in mercy for his great love, wherewith he loves us. And he who fears God certainly would fear to sin, because it would displease him, and we wouldn't want to do anything to displease God. But the picture here says, fools despise wisdom and instruction. They don't know God. They don't care to know God. They're not going to listen to anybody else who tries to tell them that. They're probably content in their folly. Perhaps they're enjoying what the Bible says, the pleasures of sin for a season here on this earth. And they don't care about God, because the Bible says the real fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. For the more we know him, the more we love him, and the more we trust him, and the more we seek to please him. I do hope that today and throughout this week, we will try to practice the fear of the Lord in our lives each day.